Hello, hello.
Hello, hello, everybody.
Oh,
Hey, Claire.
Here you go. Hi, I'm new.
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for
It's
joining.
good.
Alrighty. As more people come in and join in, we'll get started here in a sec. Wearing the Chat GPT hat as of yesterday with all the crazy announcements. I'm sure some people saw what's going on with all the fun updates that they released yesterday. We have
yeah, Ross. Where do I get that hat, Ross? If I were interested.
oh, funny you should mention. We have it on shop.stammer.ai, I believe.
Excellent.
That's funny. Yeah. But yeah, so typically these meetings will go over some new features and updates. And then if you have any questions, you can post them in the chat and then we'll get through them one by one. And then yeah, we'll just go from there. Well, I think we got a little bit of a lighter group today, so we can have some more in-depth uh conversations on any specific topic that you guys want to go over. I mean, the main, yeah, kind of the main thing that we've all been talking about is just all the updates and things that OpenAI released yesterday and how voice is now going to be a thing. We've been saying this for six, I mean, 10 months now about how voice hasn't been there and it's not been, totally good. But from the demos that we saw yesterday, I think it's pretty clear that it's now good. And so now we're going to be working on getting that as the main channel for voice within the chat widget, as well as implementing it within Twilio so phone calls can be done as well. So yeah, I mean, so yeah, just kind of an open forum today. If you guys have any questions, feel free to pop it in the chat or just raise your hand or whatever. Or we could go over some other other stuff as well.
I'll,
Yeah.
I'll go and I'll throw the first question on that. How, from your point of view, what's the timeline before? Because I've seen people obviously in Discord already today going when, when?
Yeah. We're gonna get the text-based version in within our next update. So that'll probably be out by next Tuesday. And then as soon as voice, so they split the functionality in the API. So the text version is out today for the API, but voice is not out yet. So once that is out, then we can actually add it. But until then, we're just kind of waiting for that to be available via the API and just kind of see some of the cool use cases that people have been building with it. So that way, once we launch it, we have a bunch of cool use cases to offer with it as well. So yeah, got some more folks coming in here. But yeah, I think the biggest thing is how we're gonna implement it within the chat widget. There's a lot of different ways that we can do that, especially with given the functionality of vision as well. There's a future where we can make a bot that has an option to view exactly what you're viewing on the web page and then could walk you through via voice or text exactly what it's seeing or what your cursor is currently on or hovering over. There's like so many different use cases that are leveraging this
Yeah,
live
I
feed.
watched some of the extra demos on their YouTube channel of functionality with the graph analysis. I mean, that was from the open thing, but I
Yeah.
liked the one where it was the two AIs talking to each other. And, the interacting one, yeah, that was pretty funny.
Yeah. So I think it's going to be interesting here over the next few months, kind of what people are actually building. The cool thing is we know that just from a fundamental point of view with text, it's a better model. It is more reliable. It can call better functions on top of being able to do everything with voice. So I think it'll be interesting to see. But I mean, for everybody with Stammer, it's just going to be a, a simple upgrade, and then the functionality will be there, and then it will also be cheaper as well. So that'd be great. Z, I see you have your hand up.
Hey, can you hear me?
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for joining.
Good. Yeah, first time here. I've caught a couple of the recaps. I'm actually newer to Stammer in regards to being more involved. I reached out to Drew recently. We had a great call. Very excited to dive deeper and actually potentially even become a part of it. I had two questions regarding Stammer. First is, does this already exist, or have you been exploring the ability for agents or chatbots to be able to talk to each other, kind of like the function referencing that ChatGPT has? Because my use case is more about like having these subject matter experts, and then they can kind of build a larger a product or deliver for a user, and you may want different experts to chime in. So I'm curious how you can leverage kind of the packaging of multiple chatbots interacting. And then my second question Give me a moment. Maybe you could adjust that. I'll think of my second question.
Yeah, for sure. So this is one of the graphs that we've kind of shown people in the past, and I'll pull it up here quickly. And this will illustrate, quote unquote, like the future of what we're trying to do here. One sec, sorry, someone's calling. So this is kind of the future of where things are going to go. So right now we have the AI agent that has your custom prompt. It has a custom knowledge base. We have a couple different custom functions like leads and scheduling, but this will allow, a lot more interactivity with any sort of third-party data, like, being able to connect to a Shopify or being able to pull live tracking data from a shipping company, whatever it may be. That's this piece. But where you're talking about is how things come in and how things come out of these individual AI agents. So they have their own individual instructions that could then send stuff to another AI agent or vice versa. And this is how you could start to create groups or teams of AI agents that have maybe like a collective goal, but each of one of them specifically has their own job to send information in and out or to each other based off of your criteria. This is kind of the future of how we're and some other people online have come out with their own versions of this called LLM OS, which is kind of a similar idea where you have different things that can happen in and out of these models. And the question still kind of remains, how do we manage all this stuff? How do we bill for all this stuff? But I hope that provide more information rather than confusion.
No, it does, because I'm essentially building the blueprint for this for what I'm doing with Zuber and AI, but I've been just looking for the right platform to do it. I mean, it natively works so well with ChatGPT, but what I see stands out with Stammers, the ability to actually commercialize it and have memberships and have tiers and manage the coach, right? So marry those two, you can have a really powerful system that goes beyond just marketing, customer service bots, and kind of the conventional use cases you're seeing right now. Did think of my follow-up, and it taps into that, which is, have you explored potentially different ways that users could input? For instance, like I'm thinking of chatbot like tools, but instead of it just being a conventional chat, I know I've used a tool like Relevance AI where the inputs could be more of like a form or like a drop down. And if that's not going to be something that's on your roadmap, is there a way that we can interact with third-party tools, like using Zapier to, let's say, connect to a Relevance AI agent or something of else, kind of like that, but be able to manage to make sure it's not overly used? Like, is the credit management from something with Zapier being handled on Zapier's end, or is that tied into Stammer? Because I'm afraid of, hey, I'll tap you into another tool that I use within this chatbot, which is a friendly user face, but then you're just going to spam it. My Zapier account's going to get blown up with calls. So let me know if that made sense.
We do have a native Zapier app. We also have a white label API, which allows you to kind of go around the allows you to white label Zapier without using the Stammer.ai Zap or Zapier app. That allows you to connect it to anything and everything, both in and out, and through account creations and a lot of other information. If you go into the API section in our docs, and I'll send a link here in a sec with that, it'll show you all the different options that you have there. And then for the first option, you have the ability to set the amount of credits or messages that you want an account to basically have. And so through that, you can kind of pseudo set limits. And that will allow you to basically be like, okay, hey client, I want you to, buy this one. It gives you this much action. And if that's not enough, you can either purchase more a la carte or upgrade to another plan that has more. And so that way you're setting yourself up for success. That way you're not paying more out of pocket until they are paying you.
Right. And if, let's say, maybe it's a pretty thorough workflow that you're setting it out to, because I'm thinking of like a pretty much a multi-step function, right? User could put an input for a blog idea, and then it could iterate like 10 times, let's say. I want to mitigate its ability to do that within Zapier. Let's say it pulls into another tool, because then the user could potentially spam the workflow that's doing a lot of credits on my back end. Let's say it's through another tool. So what I'm thinking, and we could take it offline from here. What I'm thinking is, though, is you can essentially have a dedicated chatbot that could do something like this, and you just limit the credits within Stammer to be like, if you want to do this really cool little workflow function within Stammer, within the full ecosystem, we're just going to limit how many times you could talk to this specific chatbot.
Yeah, you could do that. I'm thinking like, I was trying to think of other creative ways that you could do that in Zapier as well, by doing like a check of some sort, like some sort of confirmation check. I've started to see this in other freemium AI products where they're worried about this spamming or, you know, hyper account creation for spamming. Well, if you put it behind a confirmation, like an SMS confirmation or an email confirmation, that will drastically help that cut that down. So I've seen other people use a step within Zapier with their Twilio account to have the SMS confirmation be sent. So that's another option, even outside of even Stammer, outside of even Zapier, that could have even further control.
That's interesting. Well, thank you for answering those questions. It definitely sounds like pieces of that are part of the roadmap, which is exciting. And one note I did see from our research, if anyone was interested in those topics, Zapier does have a team function. So in theory, if you're working close enough with the client, let's say you have a white label through Stammer, you could also essentially add them to your Zapier team and kind of connect the dots there. And you can limit users on a Zapier team as well. So you can do that. I'm just trying to mitigate
Smart.
the need for that.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to make it truly a standalone package. Hey, sign on to the Zuber AI Hub, have access to all these different bots from basic to highly complex usage, and you can tap into third party as you see fit. But seems like there's some engineering items, and maybe there are ways to do it right now, but I appreciate you covering it.
Yeah. And one of the issues then for everyone else listening, one of the reasons why many of our meta integrations haven't been approved yet is because of this disparity between us being Stammer and all of the apps that we're creating are the white labeled versions, which have Stammer nowhere in anywhere in order to make it white labelable for you guys. So we're basically trying to deal with meta right now. And this is why we have the white label APIs. So you can just go around this aspect if you need to right now. So it's, you know, there's multiple options basically is what I'm trying to get to without too much confusion. That's an ominous laugh. And if anybody else that recently joined into the meeting, if you guys have a question, you can drop it in the chat or raise your hand. We're just kind of going for a free for all meeting today.
Hi, my name's
Hey.
Claire.
Hey, Claire.
I started playing around with it this past week. I don't know why, but for me, the leads generation isn't working.
Okay.
Like I
Which-
interact with the bot, and then I go to the leads tab, and I don't see like the table populate.
Gotcha. Have you talked to anybody in Discord or opened a ticket at all yet?
No, I can do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you could do that, that would be great. And then Tim will hop in with you shortly and we'll debug that bot for you.
Okay.
Yeah. Copy the support info. There's a little 3-dot button on each bot's card. And just copy this, click on that and go to copy support info and then include that in the ticket, which will help us be able to troubleshoot it. Eventually we'll have a link you can just give us. It would allow us to directly access the bot very quickly. But yeah, that'll help out a lot.
Okay. Thanks.
No problem.
Yeah. And one of the other big updates that we're kind of expecting with adding GPT-4o is further complex functions. So as we start to build out our custom function builder, which is going to mimic how GPT's action builder works, we'll be able to leverage this new model to allow you guys to basically be like, hey, I want a bot or an action or a custom function that will go to Shopify and pull down custom order data. And instead of us having to figure out how to write all that code, the AI will write the code for us and pull from Shopify's API and give everything that we need in order to create that custom function to satisfy that use case. And as these models get better, we'll be able to stack more and more of these custom functions together. So if we want to do leads and scheduling and being able to pull custom, Shopify and, all the different possible use cases, we can start stacking all of these together and getting to this ideal future of an AI agent that can do anything for anybody at any time. Has anybody had any conversations with businesses about AI phone calls even before the update of yesterday?
Yeah, I mean, I have an AI voice company, and the update has me pretty scared, which is why I'm trying to diversify.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So were you basically like stacking 11 labs and a bunch of stuff together?
Yeah, well, I use custom LLMs.
Okay.
Yeah, like a Mixtral. But yeah, I talked to the CEO of Boppy and Bland, and like I'm based in Austin, so there's other voice bot like CEOs in here. Yeah.
We know the Bland guys real well.
Oh,
Yeah.
Isaiah
Mhm.
and
And Sapan.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Pretty
Yep.
cool.
Yeah. Smart dudes. Yeah. I'm interested to see what their take is on all this stuff.
I know. I was gonna text them.
Tell you though, just on the voice thing, a very small town, so I'm always curious in watching who's ahead of this in the small businesses that are in small towns to see what the spread of things are. The guy who does our water service has a phone out that is really well done. That just booking appointments for people to come in to do your water inspection.
Mhm.
The amount of time that saves is phenomenal. You know, that so that there's a real opportunity there, but I don't know if I don't. It's like when I tried to get into the veterinary thing, we came up against a really intensive competitor who was doing great stuff in the veterinary world already.
Mhm.
You know, so I'm curious as to what the avenue is on this voice piece, because this is a really good part for, like I said, small businesses who want to book
Mhm.
appointments with people. It's just a hellish thing to do,
Yeah.
you know.
And it's sexy. That's what I think we're seeing from a lot of other. I mean, everyone saw that Bland ad in front of the billboard that went viral. That type of that type of content is going to get those older business owners to be like, oh, I actually want that because it's actually good now, or it's actually useful. And after yesterday, there's going to be millions of those videos and content out there. So I think it's just kind of, it's now almost it's a race to be the best agency, basically the best prompter, because that's really what it's going to come down to. All of the tech is going to be essentially commoditized at this point to be who has the easiest use, best prompting, best support, best customer service. Yeah.
Yeah, who can roll this out in a way that's going to make it easy to use as well.
Correct. Because this is one of the things that a lot of people have asked, and we're making content on this right now, but why would a business pay an AI agency for any of this? And it's the same reason why a lot of business owners pay to have people build their websites or manage their ads or manage their social media. It's because they want to focus on their business and do their business. They don't necessarily want or care about, I mean, AI, let alone their website or email or anything else. So I think that's one of the things that we're going to continue to see as this stuff gets, bigger and more complex. The need for someone who actually knows how to do prompting and managing this stuff is gonna be really needed.
Yeah, I think people, especially with small businesses, divide into they divide into two types. There's the do-it-yourselfers and the people who are willing to pay. And you can always get tracked on the one, the people who don't want to pay for anything. But there's people who are smart enough to say, I don't have the time to deal with that. I'm faster to get up and running with someone else. The trick is sorting those out quickly.
There's no reason really any business owner should pay someone else to build a Wix or a Squarespace site for them when there's templates and very easy drag and drop options.
But I mean, I had to build my own website just because for something else I was doing, and I wanted to do it just to go back to it.
Mhm.
And something, there's still, doesn't matter how easy the template is or how easy the tool is. There's still some skill that you
Exactly.
lose a lot of time. And if my time is, I'm terrible for this, so I'm the worst example, because I just get fascinated and want to do something just to prove I can. And people will say to me, your time would be much better spent selling or getting new customers. And I
Exactly.
totally accept that. It's one reason I'm not rich.
One of the good pieces of advice that we've been starting to tell basically every agency owner is you got to just get out there and just start talking to businesses. Start cold calling.
Focus on outcomes.
Yeah. And I know Justin can maybe pop in quickly and mention some stuff about some cold calls and outbound maybe.
Well, yeah, I mean, Claire, I know you're newer to the platform, and first of all, welcome. What niche are you going after? Or like specifically, what have you been looking at?
Okay, to be honest, I made voice bots for OnlyFans models, but then the industry is just going so fast, and I don't want to make like straight up porn. But yeah,
I love it.
we have like the world's best AI.
I will. There's money in it. Sorry,
There is,
Oh boy.
I have morals and but we did make the best one, and I used to work with Bland, but now we work with someone else, like a
Got it.
Harvard PhD guy.
Okay, cool.
Love it. That's awesome.
And so is that, are you still, so you're not targeting that niche anymore, or do you know what new niche you're going into?
Probably more automation, maybe content creators. It's just because most people would use the bot for like just intimacy anyways, not like explicit stuff. And so with the OpenAI like release, it basically seemed like the movie Her. They can probably achieve that. And I just don't want to make straight up porn. Like we had the Stable Diffusion and all of that, but yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Very interesting. Yeah. Anyone else going into some interesting niches?
I mean,
Z, are you
I might
looking
next
at
week, but that's another story.
What's up? Were we asking me?
yeah, what niches are you looking at potentially getting into, just so we can discuss maybe some outbound strategies? And Claire, honestly, I'd be interested in hearing whatever that outbound strategy was. It sounds like you probably went through like a manager or something from them. I really don't know. But Z, like how, we're always trying to find new ways for our customers to get in the door with their customers, right?
Yeah, for sure. So I have a pretty unique use case. I've actually been very silently building for over a year, mostly on the personalization side. So I'm a DJ. I'm actually a metaverse DJ. I go by Meta DJ. Look it up. It's pretty cool. I do virtual reality DJ experiences. Let's have a Stammer party. I told Drew about this. He's like, "Oh my
Dude,
gosh!"
let's
Like,
do it.
yeah. So we could do a lot together. But that'll
Are
be
you
a
on
side
Twitch?
note. We'll follow. Oh, I'm on Twitch, but I'm mostly in the metaverse. Follow me
okay.
on X or Instagram, Meta DJ official. I'm not trying to show guys, but just to give you background. Okay.
Definitely.
Great plug. Great plug.
I've been doing that for over 4 years. And one of the biggest issues with the metaverse, for those of you that don't know, you think of Meta, right? And maybe even Ready Player One or cyber movies. But for me, it's like the future of the internet. Okay, the more immersed, more informed, more intelligent, more secure. Okay, so the idea is that it's been hard to build these virtual spaces or even create these more interconnected virtual experiences, both in person, digital, or fully digital. Blockchain's been emerging, right? But AI, I think, is the missing piece. I think AI is actually going to be the foundational element to building this future internet. As we all probably know here, as we're building our own applications, Stammer, your business evolved because of AI. So I've been silently just building and building on how to create truly personalized agents to be like a clone of your business, and then to be able to help people enter the metaverse. I've done it for my own business. Zubrant literally was created from AI. So that's why I asked you earlier, how can they chat? Because I have agents that can do specific different functions to build the metaverse that I see. But more on the fun side, prepare DJ sets, think about what songs pair well together, what's the vibe. I'm really excited for the update, because now I'll have it studying me as I'm DJing. Maybe I have a camera on the crowd. Are they liking it or are they not? So that's my use case. It's pretty unique. It's more for engineering and development on products and services rather than trying to go to market for helping customers get lead gen or marketing. I'm more trying to help creators and businesses build in the space with co-pilots.
Very cool. Very unique. That's very cool. Yeah. Not sure how much outbound sales stuff applies to that, but yeah, thank you for sharing. That's awesome.
That's why I was like, he
yeah.
just opened Pandora's box, but I'm gonna give it to him. Been dying to share.
That's awesome. So are you close to launching that, or you said you're in stealth, or?
So I have fully implemented it. I already have a clone of my whole business, like very much to the T. Now that's why I'm looking at Stammer. I'm finally ready to go to market within a couple of weeks. Been now actually building the foundation. So everything you're talking about with lead gen still matters. Like I'm going to be doing outbound. I'm beginning using it to educate and teach and inspire. Pair it with the Hey Gen AI avatars of me in the metaverse doing cool things, right? So there's a lot to play in with it. So I think what's important, and this is why what I believe and what I'm building is so valuable, is making sure these outbound messages, when you can now do them at a mass level with tools like Stammer or anything in between, is it personalized? Does it actually sound like you? And how can you achieve that, right? Because one of the biggest pushbacks to AI outside of, oh, it's going to make us inferior, is it's not genuine. It's literally the exact opposite. Either it's going to take over our lives or it doesn't sound like us at all. Yeah. So I'm trying to bridge that gap. So anyway,
cool. I'm excited to see your progress. I'll definitely follow along, and I'll definitely follow you on socials.
Right on, man. Appreciate it.
Any last questions from anybody for today?
I'd really like to to get deeper into this dial out stuff, does anybody got any places I can go to brush up on it?
Dialogue in what context?
Dial out. I mean, in phone out. It's an area I haven't looked at, but I'm fascinated by it. If anybody's got any places I can look up to try and educate myself on it, I'd be grateful.
I mean, the example or competitor that, I mean, not even really competitor, integrate something that we were looking at integrating, Bland.ai. They have a public thing on their website where you can kind of play around with AI phone stuff for, I think it's for free.
Okay. No, check it out. Yeah.
Claire, what do you suggest?
Oh, and voice. Voppy is cool. It's like bring your own LLM. I've worked with Bland since like December. I was basically their QA engineer. So I'd be like, yo, this is broken. It's okay. Like it doesn't work all the time.
Yeah.
But the future is promising. I think with actions, like that would be cool and integrate that with like Zapier flows. If you look at Zapier, they also just launched Zapier tables and think workspaces. That's kind of interesting too.
Take a look at it. What was the other one you mentioned? There was Bland, and what was the other one you mentioned?
Oh, Voppy, VAPI.
VAPI.
Cool. I'll check them out. Thank you.
Awesome. Cool. Alrighty. Well, I think that'll wrap up everything for today. Thanks everyone for joining. We'll be posting a version of this. I'm going to edit some of this stuff out just for everyone's sake. And we'll post this up on YouTube and talk to you guys next week.
Hey, thanks, Ross. Thanks,
Thanks.
Tim.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Talk to you later.
Bye-bye.